When we factorise something, what we are effectively doing is putting the brackets back in to an expression. And I'll illustrate that with the following example. If you imagine I've been given 15x plus 10, and I've been asked to factorise that. By putting brackets back in, effectively what I'm doing is I'm asking myself what is common to this term, 15x, and what is common to this term, 10. So what I'm asking myself is, what number fits into the 15 and the 10? So when I go to put brackets back into an expression, I'm looking at this number here and this number here, and I say to myself, actually 5 is the biggest number that fits into 15 and fits into 10. So my first step when I'm factorising is to put the 5 outside the brackets and then produce just an empty set of brackets. I then look at this and I say to myself, okay, if I want to put something here, which when multiplied by 5 gives me 15x, that has to be 3x. So I've got my 3x there, and I can see that 5 times 3x will give me the 15x. When I look at the number 10 here, I say to myself, there has to be a plus 2 here, because when I multiply the brackets later on, I can say that 5 times 3x is 15x, and 5 times 2 gives me the 10. So factorisation is a straightforward process if you know exactly what you're doing. And what we are doing is we're taking out a common element, or the biggest number that fits into, in this case, 15x and plus 10. That's all we have to do when we factorise. We're putting brackets back into an expression. For my second example, I've got to factorise 42x, take away 48. Now, when I come to factorise this, I can see that 2 fits into 42 and 2 fits into 48. And some students will take out a 2 and open the brackets and put the other terms inside the brackets. But effectively, what we need to do here to gain maximum marks is to look for the biggest number that fits into 42 and 48. So looking through the numbers in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, actually, 6 is the perfect number to take outside the brackets, because 6 is the biggest number that fits into 42 and fits into 48. So as a winning formula here, I'm now going to open up some brackets here, and I'm going to say to myself, what needs to go here? Well, I'm thinking to myself, 6 times 7 is 42, so I'm going to put a 7x here, and I'm going to put a minus, I'm going to put an 8 here, because I can always check that 6 times 7x is going to produce the 42x, and 6 times a minus 8 gives me a minus 48. So I've correctly factorised this in its entirety. I've taken up the biggest number, the biggest factor of 42 and 48. It happened to be 6, so I've got 6 outside the brackets, and I've got 7x minus 8 inside the brackets, and I've got 4 marks for that question. Now, for my next example, there's a really important word in the exam that pops up regularly where students are asked to factorise fully. I must emphasise the importance of the word fully. Invariably, this question will come up every year and it'll be worth more than 1 mark. So the concept is we don't just take out one thing, we can take out 2 things in the brackets. So if I write down 4x squared plus 6x, and I know that I've got to factorise fully, I just focus on the numbers here and I say to myself, okay, I'm going to take out a 2, because 2 fits into 4 and 2 fits into 6. So I've taken out a 2, but I can also take out an x. So I just pop my x by the side of 2 and I open up a set of brackets just like that. So I've now taken out not just 2, but I've taken out the 2 and I've taken out the x. And inside these brackets I'm going to put a 2x and I'm going to put a plus 3. And I can see that that is indeed the correct answer, because if I want to check, 2x times 2x produces 4x squared, and 2x times 3 gives me my 6x. So 4x squared plus 6x can be factorised fully to produce 2x times 2x plus 3. And invariably, if students just take out a 2 but not the x, or they take out the x and not the 2, then they may be given some credit, but you won't get the full marks until you take out everything that's common to those terms. And my last example here, when I'm factorising fully, is when I'm asked to factorise 10x cubed plus 15x squared. Now for this example, I'm going to take out a 5 because I recognise that 5 is the biggest number that fits into the 10 and fits into the 15. I could take out the x, but what I noticed when I've been asked to factorise fully, I could indeed take out an x squared with an empty set of brackets initially, because I recognise the fact that x squared will go into x cubed and x squared will clearly go into x squared. So by factorising this expression fully, I've got 5x squared on the outside. And inside the brackets, I just produce 2x. Now I recognise the fact that x squared times x, I've got my x squared times x, well that's just x times x times x. So I know that that's x cubed. So I know that by taking out 5x squared here, putting 2x here, it's going to be great news. I just wrap this up by putting a plus sign here. I've got 5x squared on the outside, so I think to myself, what needs to go here so that when it's multiplied by 5x squared, I get 15x squared. And I think to myself, this is straightforward, this is easy, I just need to put a 3 here, because 3 times my 5x squared will give me my 15x squared. So I'm looking at what I've got so far. I've taken out not just the 5, but I've taken out 5x squared, and inside the brackets I've got 2x plus 3. That's been fully factorised, so I get maximum marks. So as a quick review, when I'm asked to factorise, I take out anything that's common from each of the 2 separate terms. If I'm asked to factorise fully, the word fully is mentioned in the exam, then I know that I not just have to take out one particular number, but I need to take out some variables as well. In this case, I've got the full marks by taking out 5x squared and putting 2x plus 3 inside the brackets. So if you look at this calmly, systematically, take out everything that's common to each term that's independent, each separate, then you're bound to get the full marks. So when you're tackling this question, think of a nice, systematic, clear way of doing it, and best of luck from the Commons team.